Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai retreat. So what is so alluring about the Japanese maple?
Maple syrup.
Well, truthfully, it's the colours. It's the delicate leaves. It's the way the bark, if treated properly, can look so magnificent. And I've got 3 specimens today that I'm going to prune. Now I'm going to apologise, because unlike many of my colleagues, I don't have any of these fancy shishi or Arakawa or any of those sort of maples. I've got these, which are what I call my yellow leaf maple, my own name of course. I've got quite a load of Katsura because I had a lot of success with cuttings from them, but apart from that I've just got my good old-fashioned, no brand name, acer palmatum Japanese maple. Now for the first time in many years I actually haven't got that many Japanese maple in sort of formal pots like I have here, and that's because I basically threw everything that was in marmite pots or whatever back into pond baskets, and that video should have come out by now, but do you know what, I thought you don't need to see that until you actually see the results, and that's going to be a video telling you about how much success and what's the point of using pond baskets on your Japanese maple. But you can look forward to that later in the year, and if you want to hear about that one, well of course all you need to do is hit the ding ding bell and you'll get notification when it comes out. But spoilers, I reckon that's going to be somewhere near the winter time when we've all put our bonsai away. So that's something to look forward to. Anyway, away from the subject, let's hack on, probably not a great word. Let's get on with the pruning of this first of my Japanese maples.
Baby, scrap that intro.
Now, as I'm sure you're more than aware, back in 2015, 2014, I was lucky enough to pick up 100 plus one-year-old seedlings from the local market, and I got them for about £8. I went through the old processes of planting them up, putting them in nursery beds, putting them back in pots, moving them about, and all I did is stunted their growth severely for the best part of 8 years. Well, when I started this channel, this was the first Japanese maple group planting I created, and it's an absolutely really interesting straight bark Dawn Isaac ceramic. Surprise, surprise. I'm sure if you want to see the video for that, it'll be in the Japanese maple playlist, which you'll find in the description, or indeed up there. This was just a bit of fun because I didn't know how to use this very narrow canoe-like pot. So what do we need to do with this? In terms of my approach, I've asked myself one question: is this group planting finished in the sense that, you know, I'm not looking to get any more height or anything like that? And the answer to that is yes, it's finished. If I wanted to try and make it twice as big, I wouldn't have put it in this pot, but if I had and I wanted to get bigger, my answer would be to leave all these shoots to grow nice and tall, thicken the trunks. So what I'm saying here is I've already decided that I want to prune for proportional development. In other words, I'm going to be pruning everything back, and each year it will slowly,
very slowly,
get thicker, more aged, and more advanced and more perhaps bonsai looking. Now, because I know that I'm not actually looking for it to grow vertically or indeed horizontally, I will do what is called pruning to profile. So the first thing I will do is recognise that I want to define my outer limits of my profile, and to do that I first will get rid of the easiest stuff. So I've got this great big long growth here. I certainly don't want it coming out this far, and looking into the tree I've got the option of either taking this length all the way back to here, and there's a bud there and a bud there really close in, and truthfully that's what I want to do, because if I wait any further I could take it to here, and that gives an internode length there of probably 1.5 centimeters. Well, this high up in the tree for this growth here, far too short, so I'm actually going to cut it all back to there, and that will also make a great cutting, but more of that later. So by doing that, we've seen the height here certainly not get much more than there. We've got one bud there and one bud there which I want to come out and create 2 from 1, but also much closer ramification. Now the other thing we need to be aware of is that certainly under here there's a little bud. We want to remove all these little buds and then just clean up all the nasty stuff around there. So I can actually probably rub that out, which is what I'll do. We've got this one here. That's actually a really long internode, but for now I'm just going to cut that off. And looking in there, there's actually what we call the parallel effect.
He's paralleling us again.
Well, we've got two coming from the same junction, but they're vertical. I really don't want that. I'm actually going to make the tree go from these ones. And what that's going to do is we'll get new buds there, new buds there. Now, if I want to actually do some much deeper work, and that means really cutting back some bigger branches, yes, I could do it right now. But my preference is to leave that sort of work until leaf fall in the autumn, when everything's clear, I can see the whole profile minus the leaves. Now, the other thing I will cover is either partial defoliation or full defoliation, and why I might bother on something like this. But first of all, let's get in here and clean up those trees, all the tops of the trees, the same way I've just done. Again, so up there high, what else we've got? Same thing here. First junction there, let's take it all the way back to the first junction. Clean up there, we've got two buds down here, which I probably want more than this, so I'm actually going to cut that back to get these two buds to go. So anyway, I'm going to keep going on this, and I'll probably come back to you when I'm halfway through. Now, hopefully, by showing you half done, half not, you can see the difference again. And I keep talking about one of the important things about pruning any of your deciduous is you're trying to create certainly clear lines of circulation, so wind and all that stuff and air circulation can happen. Sun can come through and hit all the inner branches, thereby helping the new buds that you want activated to receive the energy light that they need to open up those new buds, but also give the tree room to grow. And also it's an ideal way to see whether or not we've got any bug infestations or not. So when I talk about opening up a tree, there you go. Now there's the profile hasn't really changed. If you compare it to where the two are, all I've done is basically removed 50% of the foliage, and I've removed basically anything that's growing down, up, the usual rules, so that we don't get junctions of 3, 4 growing. And with Japanese maple, that's something that you see it. If you look at your Japanese maple now, there will be lots and lots of little buds all over it. They're the things you've got to remove. Always look, what 2 branches do I actually want? And try and stick with those. I mentioned the word partial defoliation and full or total defoliation. Now, the first thing I'll say to you is, yeah, you can do a full defoliation of a very healthy tree, and at this time of the year it will probably come back brilliantly. And I've done it, with my maples, and it's been fine. But from experience, what I've discovered certainly in sunny Grantham, well, not so sunny Grantham, is that partial defoliation works much better. And if you've watched many of my videos, you know what I mean by that. I'll have a pair of leaves on either side. Take, for example, here, and I will always remove, say, out of that pair, I'll have a look and see where the outer one is. I want to reduce where it is coming back from, so if I'm trying to clear up inside, I'll remove an inner leaf out of a pair. One that's crossing, I might remove that one. And it really is arbitrary, it's up to you, but remember, your aim is to allow light in equally and balanced across the whole tree or the whole group planting. So I'll always leave one of a pair of leaves. But just to help make it clearer, I mean, that's what I'm talking about being able to see through. There really is a vast difference between that and that great canopy there. This will help the tree to thrive. That will choke the tree. So yeah, so in essence, I don't fully defoliate unless there's certain species of trees, one of which you'll see, either you've just seen or you'll see soon. Well, that's the rest of it done. Again, up in the apex, same thing. I know that some of you are saying, I wish I'd seen close up what you were doing, but it's very difficult, and I tried it, to show when I've got these great big fat mitts of mine in there. And so the principles say again, if you've got anything more than 2 coming from one single junction, especially near the apex, then you have to make the decision. And it is going to be very personal to you, where your front is, whatever. There is no golden rule. Ideally, if you have 2 branches coming out, you don't want them like coming out almost like a straight line. You don't want sort of the handlebar look. Ideally, you're looking for something that's going to give you that sort of 30 degree, 45 degree maybe. That sort of nice angle, so that when the branches split and then bifurcate again, it's much easier to manage. And now all I need to do is remove quite a bit of algae-like growth in the bottom. I'm going to clear this up, put a few nice bits in there, and we'll give you a final spin. Okay, well, I've worked my way around there, probably taken half a centimetre of soil off the top. There was a lot of that green horrible algae, and I've also got quite a few surface roots here. Now, you have got the option at this point where you've got these new surface roots to actually remove a few of them, but that's something I'll do in the either the late autumn or indeed in spring when I look at repots. So I've got nice surface roots going there, which, to be honest, if I want to get that slowly all matting up and rooting together, I might quite like that. What I will do is I've taken some soil off, so I will just put a light covering of a fine soil particle up there, and this is like 2 to 3 millimeter pumice and zeolite. And the only other thing I'll do is, these are healthy trees, but what I do want to do, get some fertilizer on there. So I don't get sponsored by them, but I'll put some biogold pellets on there as well. And there it is. So get that all watered in. As usual, whenever you do a big defoliation like this, never ever put it into direct sunlight, and as the heat of the summer comes on, your maples will crisp off unless you can keep them watered 2-3 times a day, depending on your soil conditions. This next one, single tree, have had it since 2015, 2016. I bought 3 trees that were together. It's a standard acer palmatum. Don't know whether it's Golden Dream or someone's dream, I don't know.
Well, actually, it's not even my dream, it's a friend of mine's dream.
It's got quite a bit of scarring down low where there was some agricultural branch removal, but placed into this lovely Dawn Isaac ceramic, very nice. All I want to do, again, it's going to be a partial defoliation. I'll remove 1 of every 2 leaves so that I can open up the light to the canopy, and just to see if we can bring it back. And again, the nice thing to notice here, no particular bud infestations. I'm sure you'll notice that there's a bit of difference there. And I know you say, you know, I took 50%. Well, I took 50% of the leaf pairs that were remaining. I actually removed quite a lot of what you call doubled up branches. And when I say doubled up, what I'm talking about is where vertically they're grown above each other. And ideally we want them to be paired in horizontally like that, not on top. So I'll often remove the lower one or the upper one. So I'm going to start with just a single direction, if that makes sense. But you know, if you've all got maples, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They have this terrible habit of sending out parallel shoots to each other from the same junction, separated by barely a millimetre. Really frustrating, but you've got to get onto that quite early and then try and get some more buds coming out from other points. Anyway, that's that one. We'll give that a spin. It's getting quite dark and windy out here. I've given it a load of feed, and it only got repotted very, very recently. But yeah, quite happy with that. And as I say, it's had an overall pruning to the basic profile shape, which means that's the shape I want. Proportionally, as it grows in the same rate across the whole tree. If the apex grew quicker, then that's the part I would cut down more. Right, well, the third one we're going to do is another of the group plants that I did. Got that lovely snow leopard in there, and actually the video of me creating this with these lovely rocks either side is up there now. And again, if you just have a look at the Japanese Maple playlist, which is in the description, you'll see a whole host of different stuff I've done with katsuras and everything. So this one, it's going to be no different from the first one that you saw me go through. I'll do the 50% semi-partial defoliation. Again, anything at the top will get cut down quite hard. These are all the 2015 seedlings that I bought. I'll give it a good weeding, remove all this grassy stuff, lots of feed on it, and then I'll let it go again for another year. If there's anything particular note, I'll bring you back to that, but otherwise, enjoy the maples. They're such fun trees and they look so great on the benches, but we do need to clean them out. Oh, and make sure you give them a spray with whichever insect anti-aphid stuff you use. Right, let me crack on with this and I'll come back when it's done. Well, there it is, and yep, I took absolutely tons off. Really trying to sort out lots of areas where there were 2 or 3 branches coming from the same point, and you know, this has got actually a lot of growing to do, but there's loads and loads of little bud points all over it, so feed it up and let it go. And do you know what I've just realised? I didn't even touch this clump here, which goes to show, really, you can see the difference, can't you? These have all been really cut right back. This one still hasn't, so I'll finish that. But to be fair, I don't think you need to see that. I hope you've got something from this, if only just to see how far back you can hack. You really can go to town on your Japanese maple when they're healthy, and you'll see lots of budding back, and we'll see this again much later in the year when you'll go, wow, Xav was right. Most of us have mucked about with Japanese maple. It's a great starter tree that we all like to get from our local nurseries, so have fun with them. If there's anything in particular that you think I should have said or didn't show properly, well, you know what, that's what the comments are for. Try to be nice about it, but you know me, I'll answer all your comments if I can. So anyway, that's me done for today. I'm going to do the same process for all my other 40, 50, 60 maples, no different. And really the next time we're going to see these properly is going to be in the autumn. I tend not to prune them again. I give them all a good spray, give them all a good feed. So from Xavier, hope you enjoyed this. If you think anyone else would, then please helps me if you'd share. If you haven't subscribed and you'd like to, then by all means do so. All the best, happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.